I'm over in Tauranga today, picking up 800 titanium tweezers for the Kickstarter project. Oh, look at that crane. Anyway, I've also picking up about 100 mechanical pencils, buying this valve for setting up the water jet cutter. Just going to drop that off at the new workshop right now. Oh, it's dark in here. So I'm dropping this off, and I am also picking up this, which is the a cordless drill. That's all I've got to do here really, so yeah, time to head back to the old workshop. Here in New Zealand, and I believe it's in Australia as well, we have a big sort of store called Bunnings. And so if you're from America, it's pretty much identical to Home Depot. I think it's Home Depot. You know, they sell, like, if you're gonna like remodel your kitchen or do some work around the house or the garden, you buy your tools and wood and all that stuff there. I think that's Home Depot, but it's identical. I was in one of those stores in America a number of years ago. I was just like, this is identical. So obviously it's a business model that works. But I've stopped because I need to buy some of those Irwin clamps. I don't know if you've seen them before. They're so handy just for everything. I'll go and buy them and then I'll show you them because it's easier than trying to explain them. Right, okay, so I got a couple of these. These are the Irwin clamps. I don't know, I call them Irwin clamps because it says Irwin on them. But yeah, so you open them up and you just... They are unbelievable. Like, we had small ones that were a bit small for some tasks, and we have big ones that were a bit big for some tasks. And so I got these ones, the Goldilocks ones, right bang in the middle size. So off to the workshop now. Right, so back at the old workshop now. 800 tweezers is what we've got. Now, we're going to do a bit of an experiment tonight. We have the new tumbler, the vibratory tumbling bowl. We have the old tumbler. Now, recently we've been putting 320 tweezers in this. I think we did up to 360, thinking like, oh, that's pushing the limits, because the limits, we're limited by, we don't want them to scratch each other. We think that can happen. But then I did some calculations on the board and I figured out that theoretically I should be putting 1400 tweezers in here. Now that just seems mind-boggling, like too much. I mean, you know, we put about there's 4 barrels in the centrifugal tumbler. We typically put 20 tweezers in each barrel, so that's 80 tweezers in here. So, but what we've just got, 800 tweezers, we're gonna try that. Like, it may not seem a big deal to you, that's okay, but for me who's been tumbling for a year and a half with this centrifugal tumbler, it's a big deal, because we've had issues where we've put too much in the tumbler and we've wrecked the product. Sometimes we can salvage it, sometimes we can't, and so putting too much in is a really big issue. So I'm simultaneously excited to be trying 800 tweezers in there tonight, but I'm also apprehensive as well. I think, like, they shouldn't scratch each other. Like, that's the plan. We're only going to do the first stage. We still have like other stages after the sort of initial. This is called the cut down stage. Where we take fairly sort of, it looks smooth, but it's over a long period of time and a lot of pressure, it's actually quite rough. And that's the cut down. So we're only going to do that with the 800, and then we're going to use probably the centrifugal tumbler for the further sort of finishes to get the satin, the matte type finish. So that's the exciting thing today. Actually, one more point on this. Like I said, we do on average, or typically 80 tweezers in there, 80, in the centrifugal tumbler. So putting 800 in this one is literally 10 times as much. But it's not as awesome as you think, because it would take around about 2 hours in there to do 80 tweezers, and it would take around it's taking us about 10 hours right now to do the equivalent cut down. So what would that be? That would be 10 hours in this, we'd be able to do 400 tweezers, and if we can do 800 tweezers in here, it's going to take us 10 hours. I don't know why I had to think about that. We do 10 hours. So it's essentially 10 times, no, it's essentially, Jesus, my math's everywhere today. It's essentially bloody hell. It's essentially twice as fast, but it's actually more than that, because with this machine, there is a lot of manual labor involved. Like, every 2 hours, you've got to sieve out the 20 the 20 tweezers out of there. We've got to put it in the sink, we've got to change over barrels. It takes 10-15 minutes each time, and it's quite physically intensive because of the weight of the media and water in those barrels right there. So yeah, that is definitely all I have for you today.